happiness doesn't just happen to you. It's not a gift someone hands you, and it's not something you stumble upon when life feels easy. Happiness is a choice, it's a practice, and sometimes it's the hardest thing you'll ever fight for, especially when life throws pain, loss, and challenges your way. But here's the truth: when you push yourself to be happy every single day, even when life feels heavy, you reclaim your power. You remind yourself that you are in control, not the circumstances, not the setbacks, not the pain. Today, I want to show you how to build happiness like a muscle, so you can stand strong no matter what life puts in front of you. Happiness is often misunderstood as something that just shows up when circumstances are right, when the sun is shining, or when life finally delivers what we've been waiting for. But the truth is that happiness isn't something we passively receive, it's something we actively create and maintain. It is not a reward for when everything goes smoothly, it is a discipline that we must practice deliberately, even when life feels unfair, heavy, or overwhelming. Think about how you approach physical health. No one expects to wake up strong, flexible, and fit without putting in the work to train their body. You have to move, push yourself, stretch your limits, and show up for yourself day after day, even on the days you don't feel like it. Happiness works the same way. If you wait for perfect conditions, you'll wait forever. Discipline means choosing to build it daily, no matter what life looks like on the outside. This discipline begins with awareness. You notice your thoughts, the conversations you have with yourself, and the way you interpret challenges. When something goes wrong, the disciplined response is not denial or fake positivity. It is acknowledging the reality of what is hard while still choosing to ask, what can I learn? How can I move forward? How can I protect my peace today? That shift doesn't happen by accident. It happens through intentional practice. Discipline is knowing that happiness isn't about ignoring pain, but refusing to let pain define your entire state of being. Another part of this discipline is routine. Just as athletes train their bodies, you train your mind with consistent habits. Gratitude, journaling, mindful breathing, or even a walk outside. These are not fluffy practices, they are repetitions. They are the equivalent of push-ups for your emotional resilience. When you make space for these small, simple habits every day, you are strengthening your ability to find light even when everything feels dark. And like training, it's not about what you do once in a while, it's about what you do consistently, even when you don't see immediate results. Discipline also requires boundaries. Happiness fades when you let toxic influences, negative voices, or constant comparison invade your space. Discipline means protecting your mental environment the same way you protect your physical health. You don't feed your body poison and expect to be well. So why feed your mind with damaging thoughts or draining people? The disciplined path to happiness is about being intentional with what you consume, who you spend time with, and how you speak to yourself. Every choice either strengthens or weakens your foundation. Most importantly, discipline doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean you never feel sad, angry, or discouraged. It means you give yourself permission to feel those emotions, but also discipline yourself not to camp out there permanently. You recognize when you're slipping into a place that drains your energy and you consciously pull yourself back, even if it takes effort. Happiness as a discipline is about resilience, not denial. It's about constantly reminding yourself that while you cannot control everything that happens, you can always control how you show up in response. When you start to treat happiness as a discipline rather than a fleeting feeling, you realize it's always within reach. It's not a matter of waiting for life to get easier. It's about building the strength to stay centered when life gets harder. That is the kind of happiness that lasts, the kind that cannot be taken away by circumstances, because it lives in your daily discipline, your mindset, and your commitment to yourself. Control your mindset or life will control it for you. That statement might sound simple, but it is one of the most powerful truths you can live by. The mind is the filter through which we experience everything. Two people can go through the same event, losing a job, facing rejection, struggling with a setback, and one person will see only failure while the other sees an opportunity to grow, adjust, and move forward. The difference isn't in what happened, the difference is in mindset. If you don't learn to guide your own thoughts, life will guide them for you, and it often won't be in a direction that serves you. When life is difficult, the natural tendency of the mind is to spiral. It focuses on everything going wrong, magnifies fears, and convinces you that you're powerless. That's the danger of letting life control your mindset. External circumstances, loss, negativity from others, unpredictable challenges can end up shaping your entire inner world. Suddenly, you are no longer living from a place of choice, you're reacting to whatever shows up. That's when you feel like life is happening to you rather than for you. Controlling your mindset doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending everything is fine. It means you take ownership of your inner dialogue and refuse to hand over your peace to things outside your control. The way you speak to yourself plays a huge role in this. Imagine talking to a friend who is going through a hard time. You would encourage them, remind them of their strength, help them see a path forward. But when it comes to ourselves, we often do the opposite. We criticize, judge, and reinforce negative beliefs. Training your mindset means interrupting that inner critic and replacing it with a voice that pushes you toward growth. Instead of, "I'll never make it through this," you discipline yourself to say, "This is hard, but I can find a way." Over time, those intentional shifts create resilience. They build a mind that works for you instead of against you. Another key part of controlling your mindset is perspective. Challenges and setbacks are unavoidable, but the lens you choose determines how they affect you. If you see every obstacle as a dead end, your mind will shut down. If you view it as a test or a stepping stone, you give yourself power. Perspective is not about denying difficulty. It's about reframing it in a way that fuels your strength. Life will always present reasons to complain, to feel defeated, to stop trying. But with a trained perspective, you see those same moments as reasons to grow stronger, to sharpen your skills, and to prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you think. Discipline is the glue that makes mindset control possible. It is not enough to think positively once in a while or to remind yourself of your strength when things are easy. You must practice every single day, catching negative thoughts, shifting them, and directing your focus towards solutions rather than problems. It takes work to resist the pull of fear or self-doubt, but that work compounds. The more you take control of your thoughts, the more natural it becomes, until eventually your mind is wired to support you instead of sabotage you. The reward for this effort is freedom. When you control your mindset, external circumstances lose their power over you. People can criticize, situations can collapse, life can hit you with unexpected storms, and yet you remain steady. You know that your peace, your happiness, your energy are not determined by outside forces, but by the strength of your own inner world. That is true control. That is how you step into a life where you respond with intention rather than react out of fear, where you live from choice instead of chance, and where your mindset becomes your greatest weapon in facing everything life puts before you. Small daily choices create lasting emotional strength, and it is often in the smallest, most overlooked moments that the foundation of resilience is built. People tend to think that transformation comes from big, dramatic changes, starting a new job, moving to a new city, or making a bold decision. While those shifts can be powerful, the truth is that who you become is shaped far more by the micro choices you make every single day. Every decision is like a brick, and over time, those bricks build the walls that either protect your inner peace or leave you exposed to everything life throws at you. Consider the choice to start your morning scrolling through negativity on social media versus beginning the day with a few minutes of gratitude, journaling, or silence. One choice leaves your mind cluttered and reactive, while the other centers you and sets the tone for strength. It seems insignificant in the moment, but repeated over weeks and months, the compounding effect is enormous. You become more grounded, less shaken by outside noise, and better prepared to face challenges. Small choices are powerful because they are consistent, and consistency shapes identity. When you choose habits that strengthen you emotionally, you start to see yourself as someone who is resilient, intentional, and in control. Emotional strength is not about never feeling pain or stress. It is about creating enough stability within yourself that you can face pain without breaking. Daily choices are what reinforce that stability. Choosing to pause before reacting in anger, to walk away from toxic conversations, to breathe deeply when stress builds. These are not dramatic gestures, but they build the muscle of self-control. Each time you choose wisely, you send yourself a message: I am capable of handling this. Over time, those messages accumulate and form unshakable confidence in your ability to endure. The beauty of small daily choices is that they are always available to you, no matter how chaotic life becomes. You may not be able to control whether someone mistreats you, whether you face unexpected loss, or whether circumstances shift beyond your comfort zone, but you always have control over what you do next. Do you dwell on the hurt, or do you take one small step toward healing? Do you allow fear to dictate your day, or do you choose one action, however small, that reminds you of your strength? This is where lasting emotional power is forged, not in the absence of hardship, but in the way you respond to it moment by moment. What makes these small decisions so transformative is their cumulative effect. One glass of water won't make you healthy, but 100 days of choosing water over soda will transform your body. One day of journaling won't make you emotionally resilient, but a year of reflecting on your thoughts will rewire your perspective. Emotional strength is not the result of one heroic act, but of thousands of quiet, intentional choices stacked together. Each one might seem too small to matter, but together they build a person who is calm under pressure, hopeful in darkness, and strong enough to withstand the storms of life. This is why discipline and awareness are so important. It is easy to overlook the impact of a single choice, to tell yourself that skipping one positive habit doesn't matter, but every choice is a vote for the person you are becoming. You are either reinforcing resilience or feeding weakness. When you take ownership of these micro decisions, you stop waiting for strength to appear out of nowhere and start actively building it within yourself. Over time, you will notice that challenges no longer overwhelm you the way they once did. You bend, but you do not break. You stumble, but you rise faster, and it all begins with the seemingly ordinary choices you make every day. Hardship can either break you or build you, your choice. Life does not promise comfort, fairness, or ease, and at some point, everyone is tested. Those tests come in many forms: loss, betrayal, financial struggle, health challenges, or unexpected setbacks that shake the ground beneath you. In those moments, the instinct is often to feel crushed, to see hardship as proof that life is unfair or that you are powerless. But the reality is that hardship itself is neutral. It is the meaning you attach to it, the story you tell yourself, that determines whether it becomes a breaking point or a building block. When difficulty strikes, it reveals who you are and what you are made of. Some people collapse under the weight, letting pain dictate their identity, while others use that same pain as fuel to grow stronger. The difference is not in the circumstances, but in the decision. Will you allow this hardship to define you as a victim, or will you choose to see it as an opportunity to sharpen your resilience? The choice is not easy, but it is always yours. Choosing to let hardship build you requires courage, because it forces you to face discomfort head on instead of running from it. It asks you to endure, to adapt, and to find meaning even when life feels senseless. The process of being built by hardship begins with perspective. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you shift to, "What can this teach me? How can I use this?" That small change opens the door to growth. Every challenge carries within it a lesson, even if it is simply the lesson that you are stronger than you thought. Hardship stretches you in ways comfort never could. It pushes you past your limits, breaks down old versions of yourself, and forces you to grow new capacities. Like a muscle under stress, you may feel torn in the moment, but when you repair, you come back stronger. Another key is resilience. Resilience does not mean pretending hardship doesn't hurt. It means refusing to let the hurt be the final word. It means choosing to get up after being knocked down, sometimes slowly, sometimes painfully, but always with determination. Each time you rise, you reinforce your own power. Over time, you begin to trust yourself in a deeper way, knowing that no matter what life throws at you, you have the ability to stand again. That trust is unshakable, and it can only be forged through difficulty. Hardship also clarifies your values. When everything is stripped away, you see what truly matters. You stop wasting energy on trivial complaints or superficial concerns because hardship sharpens your focus on what is essential: your health, your relationships, your inner peace, your sense of purpose. This clarity becomes a gift, guiding you toward a more meaningful life. What once felt like punishment begins to look like preparation, shaping you into someone who can handle more, give more, and live with greater depth. The choice to let hardship build you is not made once. It is made repeatedly, sometimes day by day, sometimes hour by hour. Every time you decide not to give in to despair, every time you keep moving forward despite fear or exhaustion, you are building strength. You may not see it immediately, but over time, you will look back and realize that the very struggles you thought would break you became the foundation of your greatest strength. Hardship is inevitable, but whether it leaves you shattered or stronger is up to you. It can break you down or build you up, but the choice will always belong to you. Happiness is power. It makes you unshakable. Too often, people treat happiness as something fragile, as if it can only exist when life cooperates or when everything feels perfect. But real happiness is not a shallow burst of joy that disappears the moment something goes wrong. It is a deep inner strength that cannot be easily shaken by outside forces. When you cultivate happiness as a state of being rather than a fleeting emotion, you gain a kind of power that shields you from negativity, uncertainty, and the chaos of the world. This power comes not from ignoring hardship, but from deciding that no matter what happens, you will not allow it to take away your inner peace. Happiness gives you clarity. When you are in a positive state, your mind opens up, solutions appear more clearly, and challenges feel less overwhelming. Contrast that with being consumed by anger, bitterness, or despair. In that state, your vision narrows, your creativity disappears, and even small problems feel insurmountable. Choosing happiness equips you with the mental energy to respond with intelligence rather than react with fear. That shift in how you handle life's difficulties is where your power lies. Happiness becomes less about feeling good in the moment and more about positioning yourself to handle anything life throws at you. The unshakable nature of happiness also comes from the control it gives you. When you let outside events dictate your mood, you are at the mercy of circumstances. A rude comment, a financial setback, or an unexpected disappointment can destroy your peace because you've handed that power over to the world. But when you ground yourself in happiness that comes from within, you reclaim control. You decide how you feel, not the weather, not the people around you, not the ups and downs of life. That is what makes happiness powerful. It is a shield that protects you from being pulled into negativity that doesn't serve you. Happiness also transforms how you show up for others. When you operate from a place of inner stability, you radiate calm, confidence, and positivity, which influences those around you. People sense your strength, and it gives them permission to find their own. Leaders who cultivate happiness are better at inspiring, guiding, and uniting people because they are not easily rattled by stress or setbacks. In relationships, happiness creates a sense of safety and trust because others know you are grounded, not reactive. This ripple effect is another form of power, one that extends beyond yourself and elevates those in your orbit. It is important to recognize that happiness as power does not mean smiling through pain or pretending life is perfect. It means anchoring yourself in practices, perspectives, and choices that protect your spirit from being crushed. It might mean gratitude when it feels easier to complain, forgiveness when bitterness wants to take hold, or finding beauty in small things when the bigger picture feels bleak. These choices create a foundation of strength that nothing external can easily destroy. Over time, they harden into resilience, making you unshakable. When you realize happiness is power, you stop chasing it and start cultivating it. You stop waiting for life to hand you reasons to be happy and instead generate it from within, knowing that this self-created energy is what allows you to withstand adversity. This is not weakness or naivety, it is mastery. Happiness is not about avoiding storms, it is about standing strong in the middle of them. And when you reach that point when your joy is no longer dependent on conditions, you become unshakable. You carry a quiet, immovable strength that no hardship, no negativity, and no outside force can take away.